love you guys. Thank you so much for sending a slice of the Space Coast to me once a week over here in San Antonio, Texas.
A bird sings in a foggy field, the wind blows from the
So,
sea.
are you just going to ask me questions and I can answer it and then we'll go from there?
It's after 10 and the little pond's reflecting the tree.
And you can edit out anything that makes me look stupid.
I'll think about your pretty smile and what it could mean.
Or if I say something really messed up that needs to be gone.
A lot of times I look at you and I feel green.
I don't call no girls in the middle
Like
of the night.
now.
You got the wrong number.
You tell me who you are.
Definitely.
You like the Foo Fighters?
No. What are we talking about?
Curly tail. All right, guys.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck is that noise? I forgot I'm sitting next to Frank. All the nature sounds are right here. Oh,
Okay, guys. Welcome to another edition of the Adjust the Mic podcast. It sounds weird with me doing this.
yeah.
We are on episode 163. We, what is it, Tuesday evening, March 21st, 2023. We have, we don't have a name for you yet, Colleen, fully. I guess you're still the craft beer queen,
For
Miss
now.
Colleen,
For now.
right? And you got
Yeah.
Scotty G here. We are co-hosting this show together now. We have some guests with us. We have Oh My Garage, Frank Robb with us.
Howdy, howdy.
It's been a little bit, Frank. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to be here, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
How's that light doing? Is it right in your eyes just enough when you look at me?
I won't cry too much, Scott, I promise.
And then we also have this evening a Titusville legend, Mims.
Yes.
I don't know, like he's a Brevard County legend. Thaddeus Maximus Cranstonus.
Hello, hello.
Yes.
Hello there, sir. How are you doing
Greetings.
this evening?
Great.
Yeah, thanks for coming and participating on this episode with us there, buddy boy. This is our first episode of having Frank and Thad together on an
Is it
episode.
really?
But we've had Thad on 2 or 3 times. Me, Charlie, and Thad did a few shows together. And me, you, and it's always been us 4, you know, and Chris even with Frank most of the time. Me and Frank tried to record one episode together once
We did.
early on.
Did you?
We had about 15 minutes of good stuff, but the rest of it was hearing a click.
That's
or
which we
something.
fought after for a long time afterwards, trying to figure out what the
forever.
heck was going on.
That was when this whole studio was so different. Like
It
this
was
was off to the wall over this way.
It all looks hugely different last time I saw it.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Within those changes, we do have a kind of a sad change, a real
Yeah.
sad change. But Charlie's not going to be with us anymore on the podcast. You know, we've lost Joe Miller over time. We've lost Chris over time. And Charlie, you know, obviously he was the part of the show, a huge part of the show. So even a couple weeks ago when we talked about, you know, going forward with the show, it was a real debate on, you know, did we want to still do this or not? And I love doing it. So I was kind of on the flag of I want to keep doing it no matter what, you know, and we have a really good, solid, you know, steady base of listeners that I love hearing from and I love getting the messages from and love kind of rapping with in the Facebook group. And when I asked you, Colleen, you were all about it too. So
Yeah.
we had dinner at your house last week to discuss it and everything. And
I'm going to have to work on my snarky humor.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because he was the king of that.
I know. I miss him so much. Hey, can I tell you what I got him
Yep.
last week as a gift?
What'd you get?
So they make these pillows that one way is sequins and it's all like this pretty shiny gold pillow. And then when you push the sequins up another way, there's a picture behind it.
Uh-huh.
And I got him a picture of that guy from the 90 Day Fiance, Big Ed, his big old fat face. It was so funny. And what was the
Awesome.
coolest is that they showed it to Ava, and Ava loved it. She
that's the best.
loved it, taking pictures of it. I'm like, oh my God, I win. I win.
I actually have a good Charlie story too now. Is we were on a cruise this past weekend, and we're getting off the cruise ship, and you know, it's me and Andrea and 3 kids, right? So we have Nixon, Silas, and Allie, and we're you're going into customs, right? So you got security there and everything, and you're going through the big line with everybody. And we get up to this big security guard, bald-headed security guard, tough looking guy. And he goes, y'all got anything in your bags? And he's looking at us and looking, at us, kind of like eyeballing us and looking at my ID and Andre's ID. And he goes, Scott Geyser. Where do I know that name from? Scott Geyser. He goes, Adjust the Mic podcast.
No way.
And me and Andre, I was like, what? Did my podcast just get named coming into custom? He goes, yeah, Charlie Lord was here the other day. And he was looking at one of my Star Wars toys he wanted to buy. Tell him it's still for sale.
Oh, my God. That's too
Love
funny.
the show. Talk to you later. You guys are free to go.
Wow.
And it was just such a random,
weird,
weird, funny, thing that I thought was really cool. In customs.
It must have made it so much easier, right? Like, I was like, woo.
Yeah.
It's going to be a breeze.
I got this cocaine
trip is
right
gonna be
there.
awesome.
No problem.
That is funny.
But yeah, it was pretty. Like, Allie was like, "You're getting famous." I'm like, "No, I'm not getting famous.
Charlie
no,
was
not even close."
It is weird when
It
people
was so funny.
like mention it somewhere. Like if you're out somewhere, like what? Oh,
it was just so random,
Yeah.
I just didn't expect it, but it was a good one.
That's awesome.
It grows on you.
It does, and I'm gonna miss his energy, man, and
Yeah, me too.
what he brings to the show. So you'll be greatly missed.
I'll still see you.
But we will continue on.
So,
Yep.
Thad's in the house.
Yes, he is. How's it going over there?
The 18-year-old Colleen's freaking out right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why's
like
that?
in high school, my friends were all in a band, Indium. They're all my age. They're my friends. And
I printed their
Thad
T-shirts.
was in Lo Presher, which was the older kids band, the cool kids. Like you didn't talk to them because they were older. And
How did he act? Did he act like prep when you saw him? Did he like say hi to you and was like
no,
true
I
to his
never
fans,
even,
or did he
I would
act like
just
he was
watch
better
him-
than his fans? Like how did he act?
No, I would just watch him interact with other people, and I just like stayed out of the way, man.
Oh yeah.
I was like 18, 19 years old. I was
T,
scared.
you were really famous at one point, like really famous.
And like Lauren was dating Chris, and she's like, don't fuck this up, So it's like we just don't talk to anybody, Colleen. Don't embarrass Lauren. So I made a shirt that said I love Chris Bariso instead.
That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, I love to try to embarrass him. But yeah, but it's like that's the name I've heard my whole life.
Yeah.
Like
Me
but
too, actually.
we've never hung out and never really met until we met you.
Yeah.
Like together that way. Like you're talking about.
Frank made it happen.
It's like so
Indeed.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Thad's a good dude.
He is.
Yeah, I
How's it
remember
going?
back in the day the days of Lo Presher and Indium. So I used to sell merchandise for them, even when we were still in high school. And I told Thad this story not too long ago here recently, so I might as well share it in the air and embarrass the crap out of all of us. But I think we're at the House of Blues, and they're doing a show over there, and I had the money box and all the stuff, and we're doing this show, and I open up the money box to get everything set up, and this utensil falls out and falls on the floor, and all the pieces and parts of that utensil start rolling all over the place and rolling into people's feet, like in law enforcement. And I don't want to go any really further into it other than saying I was fearful of my life. And I look at Thad and I go, what's that doing in there, man? Like, why didn't somebody warn me about that? So, yeah,
You
I
have
don't
to get
know.
more specific.
Yeah, it was
was in
a lot. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and must have been a hot show before that because it was like a 38 special. And
Oh my God.
sorry, Frank.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, it was that. Yeah, that had to have been 25 years ago.
And like
Yeah.
the band Lo Presher, I remember that
Just like have a revolver. Just
he would
sitting
come
right there.
into
Oh my God. A revolver of all kind of guns too, man. Like, it's dangerous. Sorry. All right, Mom.
he'd come into the t-shirt shop, and he'd have some kind of shirt design he'd want, and him and Rob from over at T-Bone Designs would get over there and they'd start, going back and forth on this and that. And I'd be over there printing shirts. So they're doing something cool over there. And I'm over here having to like print these shirts for NASA or for something boring, which is so cool too.
That was
And
over at Baldwin.
Yep, over in the Baldwin Shopping Plaza. We were right in. We had two places, and Hamilton's Upholstery was next to us, and there was a little Cuban guy named Felipe in there that did all the upholstery work, and he was like famous in there. And dude, we loved Felipe. He didn't speak any English, so if the owner there, Miss Hamilton, was gone, then when a customer came in to pay for something, he'd always have to run over and get me or Rob to come over to do the credit card transaction and do the whole little thing, and all.
It was a place to fix your boots next to it, right?
Yeah, then you had the shoe place.
Yeah.
The coffee shop
Was it
still there?
Gino shoe place repair?
I got my boots fixed there.
Dude, they were there forever. I never went in that store. I never needed to.
Why would you need to?
But now they're like a little Cuban shop kind of thing, and it's actually has some really good stuff in there. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know for me personally, Thaddeus has been a dear friend for a long time. And whenever I started the idea to start EEARS, to start our nonprofit, he was really the first person I went to and had this discussion with, because he's one of the most creative, kind, thoughtful people you could ever know.
Very much so.
And, I'm like, Thad, if I do this, you're an outdoorsman. You're a guy that's always kind of focused on the environment and doing things. I want you to be included in this and what's going on. So, that was really, I sat down and had lunch with him, and that's about when we reconnected too. I was like, Thad, I called you. I'm like, let's go have lunch. We hit El Leoncito. I'm like, let's go have lunch, sit down, and let's talk about some stuff. And it wasn't but maybe a month later we started it and got it going.
Yeah, we re-upped and we locked it down, and it feels so good. It's a puzzle
I called
piece.
my Mim Shaman. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. If you're gonna,
He goes over there and gets some geyser therapy. Like, I'll go over there and spill the guts, and him and Monica will play good cop, bad cop for me or something or whatever.
that's pretty
Whatever's
funny.
needed. So
Yep.
I always appreciate it.
Yep, very thoughtful guy, and someone who's always putting others' feelings above themselves.
So let's just all talk about
Holy
that and how much
damn.
we love him.
I didn't know all that
Colleen
about him.
loves him in one
I
way.
just knew he was the cool
Frank
guy.
loves him another way, and then I love him a way.
Hey, but
We-
I'm going to say thanks. 'Cause, yeah.
we do cuddle sometimes. Yeah, so it's fair.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now we know.
No, it's somebody that's in. I like you guys. I try to surround myself with good people that have a different background and a different understanding on things than I do. And Thaddeus is one of those people where, I can go to and be like, Thad, here's this idea I got. Break this down for me. And he'll come out with like 20 different ways of looking at it that I was never even considering.
Yeah.
And they're not just like blue, red, green, purple. He'll come out with these long, pronounced, thoughtful ideas that you're like, man, I never would have went there.
Totally.
Neat.
Yeah.
You know that part in, I think it's Old School, where they're doing the competition and Will Ferrell has to answer that question. It's very difficult.
Yes.
From the hardest debater in the world.
Yeah.
And he just blacks out and answers something.
Yeah.
There's certain times me and Thad will be talking, and then we'll just be in some random conversation, and he'll go into one of those.
Yeah.
And it's usually about some genetical plant profile or some Barbados guava that's related to a freaking ostrich. You never know what you're going to get, and it's always very detailed and very interesting.
Yeah,
And you're
but then
like,
he'll
wow.
say, "I'm very sorry for destroying your ears like that."
And I was like, thank you.
They both know like when to rein me in, though, because sometimes you got to rein me in.
No,
That's
see. I don't. Think about a time I've done that to you. I don't think I usually do. I let you roll with it because there's not just nuggets there. There's really good stuff there.
It really is.
Yeah, I just let it roll, and then when it's done, it's done.
Frank's my fake nephew and like my fake boss because I'm on the board of directors for EEARS, right? And
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I love Frank's work ethic, and of course he knows the woods
Yep.
intimately. The salt water, the fresh water, high ground, low ground. He knows it. He knows what it should look like, and super thankful
Likewise, buddy.
for you,
Frank.
big dog. Yeah.
I thought about you the other day when I was at Fox Lake Park because they have those trails behind there.
Oh, yeah.
That like go into the
Oh,
woods.
those are
The
cool.
environmentally endangered
Micah
lands
Nix and I
program.
joined Frank recently on one of those trips.
Yeah, back
Well, I
there.
knew-
Yeah.
Underwater.
Yeah, that's true. It was.
I
That was
knew
a
you had
sketchy
done
ride.
Muddy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we brought the kids and we were like, ask her. We'll just go check it out because I know that it's not too long if you follow it. And I didn't really look at
Oh,
the
it's
map a lot,
forever.
and I totally forgot. Well, so we're walking, And like, I'm insistent that I remember the way, even though it's been like 5 years. And I end up getting effing lost, right? With the whole family. So it's me and Brent and the kids. And we're all like going. I end up coming out behind the guy that lives there's house, like on that trail there that I guess is closed off and is only for horses, maybe. But there's like a bunch of weird crap back there, man.
Yeah, that
like,
guy he still owns that one little piece that's inside there.
There's like broken down trucks everywhere.
You
like,
can easily
freaking,
get lost in
like,
there, man.
I know. I was saying, like, dude, like,
didn't someone get lost in
No,
there?
there's people that get lost out there quite often and end up having to call 911, and the sheriff's office has to send up the helicopter. It happens all the time.
Because you can't always hear the highway, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
there's places back there where you can go like that. There was a time after I went with you that Micah came out there with a buddy of his that's a concrete guy up there in MEMS, and he brought this side-by-side that had like 44s on it or something. It was the craziest thing you ever saw in your entire life.
Wow.
It was like a, man, I don't even understand
Y'all went
what it was.
way out there.
We went from there all the way to the St. Johns River on that thing. And that was when the water was
man.
way up too. It was amazing.
And it's not a short trip. I mean, we were
we drove
were over an hour out there.
We drove
and-
probably 5 miles back in there, if not further. It was
Wow.
we drove a lot that day, and it was sketchy as all get
And
out.
you're doing that. Listen, we were like, that's a 2-wheel drive truck you were driving, right?
No, it's
sir?
4.
It was 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
4.
okay.
Yeah, you could not dream about making that.
'Cause that's what I was wondering. I'm like, no wonder me and Micah had to sit on the back tailgate of this truck at this time to get
I
through
gave
it.
you guys I thought that was the sit outside and enjoy it ride.
Dude, we did.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like, I would not have wanted to sit anywhere else. We had a blast.
I'm like, if you're going to really enjoy this, you guys need to be outside in it, enjoying it.
Hey, let's do this. I know Micah from the t-shirt company. He used to come in and get shirts done all the time.
He's a great
for the
dude.
bed bugs.
Oh my God.
That guy used to inspire me. Like when I was a kid, he would come in and have some new money making idea that he'd be making shirts for and doing this for, and he'd sit in there with us for hours.
And
Who is
Micah
this?
was a sound
Yeah.
guy too, right?
And I did not
Who's
know
Micah?
that.
And he's like
Micah Nix
yeah,
from
yeah.
Nix Pest Control.
oh, okay.
There's
Yes.
not much.
Didn't he run
Micah
for mayor
hasn't
one
done.
year?
Did he?
Right. He ran for office one year.
I did not know.
No,
that.
that's a different Micah. That's Micah Lloyd, I think.
it
no.
was Micah.
Micah's one of the port guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Micah.
But
Mike
when we were in the back of the truck with Frank, we were checking all the traps and everything, and you came up, and then he started going, yeah, I got a studio at the house, and I got this and that, and
Yeah, if you put him in front of any instrument, he's gonna go all Rain Man. Wow, for real. Yeah,
in all of these years of knowing him, I never put that together.
isn't he like an aquaponics guy as well?
I think so.
There isn't a whole lot in the business world that Micah hasn't touched or doesn't know about. I mean, the guy's got such a vast expansion of experience
Yeah. Micah's
in everything.
He I really respect his level of interest in so many different things. Like
It's awesome.
when we were printing t-shirts, he's like, well, I want to print t-shirts. So he just bought all the t-shirt stuff, and they printed t-shirts too. And then he got bored of it and says, here, somebody want this? I'm going to do something else.
And Micah smiles a lot.
Yeah, man,
that's a
he
cool-
really
that's a
does.
cool dude.
So I love that guy, man.
I thought I knew him, but I don't.
No?
No, looking at him, he looks so familiar, though.
Yeah, he's
His
great.
wife looks really familiar.
Yeah. Was she a teacher? Was she a teacher?
Don't know the answer to that.
I'm not sure either.
I probably should, but I don't know the answer to that.
I think I'm wrong. I think it's somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not
So
sure.
it's kind of cool the connections that we all have in town here, and like what you were kind of speaking on to earlier there, Frank, about the surrounding yourself with the right type of people.
Yep.
This podcast has kind of done that for me in a way that I couldn't have done otherwise, I feel. Because, Colleen, I get to meet Colleen, through Charlie, saying, we got to have Colleen on the show. And I kind of knew you, but I didn't know you.
Yeah.
And you come to the house, and boom, we hit it off. The new intro that we just did, it goes right back to that early, when that's the first thing that you have ever said on a microphone.
Yep.
Was that little, are you going to make cut out anything that makes me look stupid and anything that makes me look bad will be gone? Yeah.
Yeah.
That little part. That's why I can't stop using. Every time I go away from it, I have to bring it back.
I didn't even know it was being recorded.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, boop. That's the first thing I ever recorded, and it's kind of a perfect disclaimer in a way. So yeah.
Yeah, and
I
thanks
love
to
that
me,
connection.
you got to meet Frank.
And then Frank brings tea to the group, and then I found out the history I have with Dad and their family, with my father and the circle of friends of all those guys that are the same age.
Titusville, man.
And you're like, wow, this is just crazy cool. And now it's like my circle of people that I spend my time talking to. It just makes me happier.
I know we do call and harass each other a lot, which I love. You know, I
Hey, when you call me and go, hey, can we rap for a little bit and talk about something?
Yeah.
And just bounce stuff off. I mean, to me, it's kind of beautiful. Frank.
It is.
It's because the first time you came on the show, like the very next day, I think we talked for like an hour.
We did.
And you had all these different things going on, and you're trying to kind of figure out a path. And you've kind of been rocking that path, bro. And then
you've helped me. You helped me figure out a big part of it. You know, you're the one that encouraged me to start my podcast. I didn't see it quite going the way it went, which has been amazing. And
I love it.
Yeah,
I love seeing everything that you guys are doing, man.
It's pretty great.
Get to be able to take the risk, and you took a risk. You go into Titusville High School, and you're like, hey, I want to do something that you guys are not doing, and I want to do a podcast. And honestly, I've always seen a podcast as the future Facebook social media in a way, to where like it's like the vocal form of social media. To right now, all everybody's doing is they look good when you go on Facebook or you go on Instagram or you go on Twitter. You're reading words that people are saying, and I feel like words a lot of time can be taken out of context. You know, and I think when you have a long form discussion about a topic, I think it breaks it down, and you kind of get to know that person more. You get to know about them more, like the radio shows of the 80s and 90s that are all quirky and funny, and Monsters of the Midday and all that. I mean, they kind of I loved all that.
Yeah,
and
me
in
too.
this, you can bring stuff that's informative and funny and entertaining at the same time, and you could do it for free. You could do it for very cheap. You could,
That's what one of the
amazing.
many things I enjoy about our side is that is exactly what you're saying, and we're teaching kids at the same time, letting them learn how to do the graphics and the audio and the sound, and it's so so flippin' rewarding.
And we have dogs barking, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
You know
matter.
what I mean?
Dogs.
Kids could be running around. You could yell. Like Charlie was always so good at yelling at the kids or the dogs to be quiet. It's perfect. It brings it to the show. It brings a realism that social media, I feel like, doesn't bring to a show.
Somebody here?
No, it's just probably some random joggers
Oh,
walking
okay.
by. Everybody in town or in the neighborhood knows these dogs now. When I'm outside doing something, they're like, "Are they going to bark at me again?" Like they always want to meet them, so I have to bring the dog outside, and they meet the people, and it's funny. They're very good alarm dogs.
Hey, we got to talk about something real quick about what this podcast and the people that have been introduced.
Yeah, there's
We had our
yeah.
friend Amanda Hunt on here talking about her melanoma cancer, and she ended up passing away from that last week. Frank, you want to talk about her?
Yeah, for sure. Amanda was an inspiration to a lot of people. Still is. She went through quite a bit. She had been battling stage 4 cancer for about 3 years, and it's where a lot of people could have chosen to make that their give-up time. I mean, it's going to get me all emotional here while I'm talking about it. She chose a different path. She started
She really did.
doing advocacy and reaching out and doing things for different people. And man, I'm just finding out through stuff like on Instagram, all the different people she had connection with around the world, with her Love and Sunblock blog she did, and all this other outreach she did with all these people, where she
Shared information with everybody.
She shared her story with these people that were going through the same thing. And I know from me personally, what it was, was 2 years last week for me post heart surgery, and it made a huge difference for me chatting with people, which there's only a couple people in the world that had that exactly what I had done, to be able to have conversation with them before I had surgery made things so much easier on me. And what she was going through was 100-fold more serious. And her to be able to have that conversation with people that are going through it and give them hope and let them know, hey, this is what to expect or what you're going to go through, or here's what's next, here's the next steps. There's no way to put a value on how much that meant to so many people. Not to even mention what she meant to her family, to her husband and her daughter, and she just made all this about so much than her, more than her, and let her faith shine like to the highest all the way through it all. I mean, there's no way you make it through all that without having, being surrounded by amazing people and having like the faith of all faith, and she had them both. It was, pretty, very, very special lady.
Very well said.
Yeah.
She's going to be missed, beyond words that can put it together.
She fought so hard, man.
She did. Yeah,
Like-
she fought very hard for a long time.
I thought there was no way. I was like, she's so determined. Like, she will find an answer. Hopefully, she'll find one for people in the future. Then
Yep.
start something, because
Her and
she
her,
pretty much started from the ground trying to figure out what was wrong. Like
Yep.
anything about her diagnosis, like, must be terrifying.
yeah, because again, that all came from a melanoma that she didn't even know. She didn't even show up in the skin.
Right.
That was from something that wasn't even externally visible. That's the reason I'm sure it went so long unnoticed.
Right.
Yeah.
Super Bowl Sunday, her and her husband Rick were able to renew their vows. So that was huge. She was so happy. She was so happy.
So glad.
Everybody there we were all in tears. It was so emotional. It was so emotionally wonderful. It wasn't a sad thing. Everybody was just so happy for them to be able to experience that and go through it. And, I'm not sure what else to say other than, she's going to be terribly missed and an extraordinarily wonderful person.
Very well said, man. That's very true. I only had a very limited few meetings with her when we were younger, even after high school, and then not again until you guys had her on the show. And
Man, let's not
she
forget
was such an
cool.
awesome person.
She was just freaking cool, man.
Really was.
She listened to Wu-Tang. She she was not stuck up.
A beautiful person in
Like-
every possible way.
Yeah, man.
Her and was it Amy Wood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were just so close to for so many years. And
Yeah, I gave Amy Wood an award for Amanda at our Ears of the Environment event.
I remember she was there to accept it. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yep, none like anybody else I've maybe had the experience to know.
We're going to miss her.
Very
No
much
doubt.
so, man.
Very, very
Thanks for
missed.
sharing.
Can we take a break?
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Okay.
That's very strange. Can you hear the ocean crying? That's very strange. Can you feel the ocean dying? That's very strange. Just how the people stand by? That's very strange. And watch it all go down? That's very strange. Can you hear the ocean crying? That's very strange. Can you feel the ocean dying? That's very strange. Just how the people stand by? That's very strange. And watch it all go down. Help us, Noah. Help us believe. Receive you all peacefully. Help me, Noah. Help me see. Help me, ocean. Says when she rise, you can always hear it. Listen to the sound of the sun. Immerse yourself in it. You're supposed to be, or not to be. So what's to be in the mother ocean? Sweet as
Get a little hummingbird heart going.
Oh,
I
got
was
it.
hearing little pieces of Arnold Schwarzenegger over there. Chopper. Something like that.
I am your father.
Oh, that's the wrong movie. Sorry.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Who is your daddy and what does he do? I love that movie.
That was a
man.
great movie.
It really was.
I liked it when he had his prosthetic face on Mars and his helmet busted.
Oh, yeah.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the first time I saw 3 titties at once.
Yeah. Tres.
There was 3 of them.
That's true. There definitely was.
Do you have good memories of that?
Ooh. Yes, I do. Very much so.
Pun intended.
Couldn't tell you the color of the lady's hair.
Why not?
It was dark.
Yeah, it was a dark scene. That was a crazy movie. Total
That's
Recall.
not the
Yeah, they
best.
tried to remake that, and it was
Like when
the-
his eyes were popping out when it was. Oh, that was creepy.
Yeah.
that's one of those movies, along with Point Break. They should have never, ever considered remaking.
Point Break was amazing.
Point Break was amazing. The
Amazing.
remake was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my
They
entire
made a
life.
remake of it.
Oh, it was so bad.
I
It was
never-
so bad.
I never even knew that.
Oh,
Wow.
it was awful.
It was that bad.
Did you guys like is it Gary Busey
I love Gary Busey.
in the Predator movie? You don't know what you're dealing with.
Gary Busey, man, like he got
Did some
really
hilarious stuff.
made fun of a lot later in life,
Yeah.
but he was a part of all the movies, man. Like him and what was it? He wasn't he Beverly, not Beverly Hills. He was in
Eddie. Him and Eddie.
Him and Eddie. Which one was that?
48 hours.
48 Hours. That's right. And Joe Pesci. No,
Oh,
Joe
yeah.
Pesci was Beverly. He was with.
I thought that was a
Mel
different
Gibson.
guy in 48
He was with Mel
Hours.
Gibson and Danny Glover.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
was, and then it was Gary Busey.
Lethal.
That was Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't in
Right.
48 Hours.
It's Joe Pesci. I'm mixing 3 different series of the same type of
Like,
movie. Yeah.
different white guy in 48 Hours.
yeah.
Yeah, they have a very similar look, though. I can't think of what that guy's name is.
What is that guy's name?
Oh my gosh,
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte.
Yes, Nick Nolte.
There it is.
They do actually have a lot of similarities.
They do, don't they?
I never really considered it until just you said that.
Nick
I've
Nolte.
never thought about them in the same sentence until
Because
just
Nick
now.
Nolte has some. He has some shots, some mug shots
Oh, yeah.
Does he
that
really?
were really gnarly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there were some of the best. I loved those movies.
So I got a question. What's the Neo 360 or Neo 180 or whatever that is in your bathroom? What is that
the
thing?
bidet.
Yeah, is that what that is?
Yeah,
That wasn't a fountain, Frank.
Oh
No,
my
I didn't.
God.
I'm looking at it and going, what the heck is this
It's like
thing?
the Neo what?
Like it has like hoses going to it and little things you can turn, and I'm looking at it going, I don't think I need that.
Yeah, you do need it.
Not for just taking a
that-
pee. I don't
that-
think I need
Crocodile Dundee for real right now.
That one is legitimately
Remember when he goes to
broken.
New York? Tries to use a bidet.
that. Did he?
Tries to help that guy doing coke. Like his sinus is all cleared out.
Oh
That's
man.
Frank, man. That's
felt
not
like
a
that-
knife.
My first
This is a knife.
first trip to Chicago, I felt like that. Legit.
This
Yep.
is a knife.
First trip to Chicago, I felt that way.
Yeah, it's a bidet, man. It's that one's broken actually. Right,
I've never
now.
seen one.
It really is nice, man.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen one before.
Yeah, we'll get you on that bad boy.
COVID.
Now we know what to
COVID
get you
got
for
the
Christmas.
bidets.
We know what to get you for Christmas now.
Is that really a throttle on it?
I'm pretty sure it
It's
is.
so strong because I have the same one.
T, do you have
it's
questions?
like, whoa.
Dude. Yeah.
You want one? I can get you one. You want one? Everybody wants one.
Yeah.
Colleen, do you have one?
Yes, that same one.
Isn't it
Really?
great?
Yes.
Is it that common? I've never seen one before.
Well, during COVID with all the toilet paper thing, Chris was
Oh,
here
that
and we were
makes
talking
sense.
about it, and we got one, and then he sent Scott a
You can get one
link
for like
to get
30
one.
bucks on eBay,
Yeah,
40
You
bucks.
just hook it up and you save a bunch of money on toilet paper.
So, hey, I mean,
Never knew.
it aims perfectly. It has strength. Like if you have it depends on what you're pooping, but if you do it right, it'll like chunk off, like thicker chunks of poop for you.
Docuseries in the
At
making.
the same time, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
The only problem that I have with it is, after you're done, like swish, 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 you don't want to stand up and have a swishy wet.
Yeah.
But then when you use the toilet paper, it makes the toilet paper wet.
Yeah.
And it can pop off. So you have to, like, I always use it before I jump in the shower.
Don't you have one of them towel things that just goes through the wall? The loop? On a loop?
Yeah, just
Oh my goodness gracious!
Just use Charmin.
yeah.
You don't have to worry about the toilet paper falling apart.
Or
But
a rope, a
I'm
length
telling
of
you,
rope,
bidet
right?
just
You run
really is a
across
life.
the-
It's a life. It's a luxury, Frank. And you
Yeah,
deserve some luxury in your life.
I appreciate that, buddy.
You really do.
You just made me think of the 3 seashells in Demolition Man. Remember
Yeah.
Sylvester
Hey,
Stallone?
let's be honest
Right?
though. That movie called a lot of things right. That movie, if you go back and look at it, that movie called a lot of things spot on, like to a spooky amount.
What
Did it?
movie?
Demolition Man.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, go
I
back.
remember it, but I don't know if
Sandra
I.
Bullock, right?
Yeah.
Man, I don't.
What was it
remember that
about?
one.
It was a future, and they had to wake up a cop from the past.
Yeah,
who was
cryogenics.
tough
Yeah.
enough to deal with Wesley Snipes' deviant character who got woke up from the liquid.
Wesley, you deviant.
Yeah. Cryogenics.
Warm,
Cryogenics.
yeah,
Yep.
warm liquid goo. Yeah.
Yep. And they didn't like everything was
Hold on.
anti-crime. You know, at this different stage, which was like what 100 years later or something. And I mean, there were some crazy truths in that movie that I forget exactly what they were, but I remember going, man, that's just like Demolition Man. Like the dude, whoever did that movie, which was not a great movie, but it was still was. I mean, it was so bad, it was good.
Wait.
It was one of those. If
I
you,
remember the cover of that movie.
yeah, if you went into it expecting a good movie, it's not what you're going to get. But if you went into it expecting, like having little expectations and knowing it was still going to be entertaining, that's what you got. But yeah, that was Stallone. A little bit later, of course, but still in his prime because the guy still is. And Wesley, like straight in his prime.
Isn't he doing like the Tulsa King now or something? I haven't watched it yet, but I hear it's good.
well, all I see is
Oh, dude, it's
Willie
amazing.
Mays
Is
Hayes.
Have you not seen that?
Willie Mays Hayes.
Have you not seen that, Scott?
I love that
Not
movie
yet, but
so
I've
much.
heard it's really good.
Scott, there's a couple new series out, and I would say Tulsa King is one of the top 2 or 3,
Okay.
hands down. I mean, it is
Okay.
really, really good.
Cool. I'll definitely check it out.
1923, different level, really good.
1923. I'm all up to date on it.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy the character. You know, the guy that's in Africa doing all the hunting and stuff, and making it. I feel like that's kind of like my long lost cousin or something.
That man is sitting up in a tree with his new woman that he's aggressively, by his manliness, not aggressive towards her, but by his manliness, won over and married this woman in the
well, they're
outback.
still engaged at that point.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And shoots a whole bunch of lions that are trying to eat them
While she's screaming her head off.
while she's screaming her head off. And it's their journey of getting back to Montana, which they're not back yet.
Yeah, first
But-
season they didn't even make it. I mean, I'm like, come on, man.
It is unbelievably good. Have you watched the Yellowstone or 1883?
I watched
Or any
the
of
one
those
with
that-
Sam.
Sam
Elliott.
Elliott.
Yep.
That was 1883,
Yep.
and that was kind of like a. Would you consider that like the Oregon Trail story in a way?
Yes.
It has like an Oregon Trail vibe to it, you know.
Yep.
It was the narration of that blonde woman
Oh, it's
that
awesome.
narrated it
Yep.
with her voice. She had that raspy, like, just perfect voice for that series.
Which she showed up in 1923 a few times narrating things
Yep,
too.
yep.
Yeah.
I'm not even shocked that this is what Frank watches.
Well, see, Yellowstone.
It's like, what does Frank watch on TV? 'Cause
Wait
he
till we
doesn't
get to
watch
what Colleen was watching. Wait till we get to your part next.
Yellowstone's really taken a downturn.
I agree.
And now that the way they're charging to watch that is ridiculous.
I always felt it was like a male soap opera in a way, but females love the show
Yeah, it's-
just as much. It's like a soap opera, man. Yellowstone.
It took a serious downward dive, but 1883, great series, beautiful to watch. But 1923 has showed it up so far, which I did not think would be possible.
This is what I'll say.
I didn't realize there was
is-
a third one.
In my opinion, you've seen all of 1883?
Yep.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
A lot?
Yeah.
A whole lot?
I mean, it was real. It was cool.
I loved it a whole like Tombstone might be my favorite movie all time. My favorite series of all time is Lonesome Dove, okay, with Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Like that was my favorite.
Was it really? I feel like guys say that because they think they're supposed to say like some kind of a Western is the best of all time.
Lonesome Dove is one of the best 6 or 8 hours of viewing that you could have in
I will
life.
take your word for it, sir. My dad agreed with everything.
Yeah.
I
Never seen it.
seeing those VHS tapes.
When I watched 1883, when I watched Yellowstone, I said, "This is a cool show." I love Kevin Costner. I love everybody. Rip is awesome. Everybody's cool. 1883 was a whole nother level of emotion for me.
Yes.
It was so awesome. It told such a story. When you see like a piano sitting in the middle of a field and she gets to play one more song, and the young boy, finally has, gets what she get, loses her virginity or whatever to the young boy, and the dad and the banter of him giving him a hard time, and then he dies shortly after, and that was her first love, and and Faith Hill was the mother, having to go through that whole journey and deal with all that, and it's just amazing. I loved every bit of it.
Yeah, it was very, very good. I just think, I didn't think they could show that up with a series, but 1923 I think did. It's
Harrison
very
Ford's
similar.
fantastic.
Yeah, very similar, but very different.
Yeah.
And I just really, I maybe it's the fact that I have more weirdly in common with that series.
Mm-hmm.
Being a wildlife guy and dealing with wildlife. I just
That makes
think
sense.
I just feel a more personal attachment to that whole story. But
amazing.
I digress.
And then there's so many shows that are kind of outright, like Shrinking. Ted Lasso just came back for its second or third season. They just started new episodes. Shrinking, they're Apple Plus shows. Shrinking's got Jason Segel from Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Harrison Ford. And that sits up on the screen right here a little bit.
Well, when we start discussing things that
It's amazing, too.
EEARS is up to here after a little bit, I'll tell you a little bit about movies that we've been kind of sort of involved with here recently.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Now, yeah, definitely. Colleen,
Yeah.
I wanted to save the best for last. The best show for last.
No, you really want me to do this?
The best show. What's the best show on TV right now?
Listen, I'm not going to say it's the best show. It's a show that I like and I'm passionate about. It's called Vanderpump Rules. It's on Bravo.
Tell us about it.
Can you put that picture I sent you up there on the
Yep.
screen? I cannot really explain to you what just happened in these past couple weeks that has shaken my universe with Vanderpump Rules.
Is it any of these?
No, I sent it to you in Messenger.
Oh. Let me see if I can
I sent you a chart of the people because there's no way in hell that Frank or Thad are going to know any of these people.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, Vanderpump Rules is it started off as this show that was a spinoff from Beverly Hills Housewives. Lisa
Boom.
Vanderpump was a housewife. She owned a restaurant called Sir. She had all these young, attractive people working there. They started following their lives. This was back in
They did what
it's
now?
over a decade ago. They were just servers and bartenders at a
So
restaurant.
this is like reality TV in maybe a Kardashian-ish way.
But these people were
these
poor
people-
as shit. They were servers and bartenders trying to be actors and, whatever in LA. So, beauty, all this. So when it all started, if you look at the top, it has Tom Sandoval. He was dating that girl, Kristen. Okay. And that guy, Jax, was dating Stassi. And they were just all young kids messing around, whatever. Tom ends up dating Ariana after him and Kristen break up. And Ariana is the coolest chick you will ever see on reality TV, man. She's nice to everybody, super sweet. All the rest of the girls in the show are pretty much mean girls for real. And she is not. But this started like season 2, right? We're on season 10 of this show now. So either way, those two have been together this whole time. Meanwhile, all this other cast is all fucking around, hooking up with people. Tom has another, his best friend is named Tom. They have a restaurant now with Lisa Vanderpump called Tom Tom's. And Tom was married to Ariana's friend Katie. They just got a divorce. Okay. Another cast member, James, he was engaged to this girl, Raquel, that he brought into the group. She was a fan of the show and went to watch him DJ and ended up dating him and then becoming a part of the show. They dated for like 4 years, broke off their engagement. So now she's single. She's really not a very smart girl. Like for real, she's not all there. But Raquel now is turning into a total hooker and is trying to hook up with everybody possible. So only if they're taken. So Tom Schwartz is newly single, getting divorced from Katie. She's trying to make out with him. He turns her down. Now Katie's her friend, right? Meanwhile, nobody knows that this whole time that she supposedly likes Schwartz, she's really fucking Tom Sandoval behind her best friend Ariana's back for
Playing
7
the Tom game.
months. So, like, the way Ariana found out, she was at one of his shows because he's in a band. Like, he's got this cover band, Tom and the Most Extras. And his phone fell out of his pocket while he was performing, and she picked it up and looked, and there was a sexy message from Raquel on there. And it just so happens that same night, Raquel was with another cast member, Sheena, in New York at Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, who runs this whole show. They had just gotten done doing a show together. It's like a talk show.
Are these people being tested?
No, dude. Like, so those two
Jeez
girls.
Louise.
So Raquel's on there with Sheena. They go out afterwards. Sheena and Ariana have been best friends since day one of this show. Sheena finds out, punches Raquel. Like, all this shit goes down. Now everybody hates them. They pick up cameras to start filming them all again. And now they're having to live out their fucking drama.
And
right
all
now.
of this circle of drama you've talked about has been going on TV for 12 years
No,
now?
so Tom and Ariana have been together, a solid couple with no issues as far as we've been shown since like 2014 they've started dating.
Okay, so 9 years.
So this whole show, everyone else has been total assholes fucking around doing whatever, but they've always seemed to like have it together. And this whole time Tom has been cheating on her. And now we're finding out that he's been cheating on her like probably the entire time.
And this is your jam.
I fucking love it, man.
Like, why do you love it so much?
I love
you gave us a
Bravo.
really good explanation on this before we started the show.
Because like my life is very chaotic and busy and loud, and it's just so much going on all the time that when I watch the people on Bravo living their crazy lives that I can never imagine or want to have, it just kind of brings back into perspective that my life is okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
I get it.
Like, it makes me feel good because I'm happy where I'm at. Because this is not something I want to deal with, but Jesus Christ, I love to fucking watch it.
Is it something that you can like watch without having to think about?
I've already binge watched now the Vanderpump Rules series. I've already watched the entire 10 seasons at least 3 times, and I just restarted it because I'm making BJ watch it.
It's amazing how reality type of dramatic TV show. It's almost like it's a modern soap opera too. You know what I mean? Because when you watch All My Children and all that, because I've watched it with my mother in summers.
Yeah.
When you're
Me too.
summer for school, and you got nothing to do. You're bored. There's one TV in the
Me
house.
too.
Yeah.
You want to play Nintendo, but you got to get through All My Children.
Yep.
There's so many. General Hospital, I think, was the big one.
I watched All My Children for years.
And all it was Tom's with Susan and Tom like cheated with
Right, and like you'd find out
Stacy
things, you'd be
and Rob,
surprised.
and it's we will get you back.
This is like real
You know?
life though, because like these people were real friends that worked together. That's what made this show so good.
But
is
do you
'cause
think
they
it's
actually are
staged
friends.
now?
No way, because this guy's losing so much money because they just opened a new restaurant called Schwartz and Sandy's, and now nobody is going there, and they're losing all their money. Like he borrowed his mom's money to open this restaurant, and now because everybody hates him,
Wow.
and like. But it's just the show, like no joke, since the beginning, season 1, the drama it brings, it's so unbelievable that people would do this shit to each other, like as friends. Like
It's amazing how the Osbournes were one of the first type of
Reality
shows
families.
that did me in. I just could not get enough. I loved everything that they did. But it was chaotic and chaos and crazy, and everybody loves it. I guess that's why everybody likes the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Because it's all wild and crazy.
Well, no, the Kardashians aren't really wild and crazy. They're just interesting. I mean, some stuff that happens in their life is, but it's not like a lot of the other reality shows that get actually wild and crazy. But like, I've always liked the competition reality shows a lot, like The Challenge and Survivor.
There's a lot of the ones where they're alone and living in the woods.
Oh, yeah, there's,
and
like, 2 new ones on
There's
Netflix.
New ones that I haven't started them, but I like watching them, and I'll watch the reality shows that I watch is the frontier ones in Alaska.
Oh God,
trying to survive and live in the wood. But even some of that's staged. Like the Alaskan bush people. They put them on that little island, and they somehow got a boat, and the boat caught on fire on the boat dock, and it was all staged.
Yeah, there was one where a guy was
I was so sad.
spending time. A real famous one where a guy was supposed to be spending time out in the woods, and doing something along those lines, and they found that he was sleeping every weekend in a
Bear Grylls not drinking his own pee,
yeah. Well.
drinking apple juice. Sir.
Oh man.
My question about this is,
Unbelievable.
all these people, why is it called Vanderpump?
Okay, so the show originally started off as so there's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
They have a van.
Lisa Vanderpump is a person on that show.
Then is she on this one?
She owns the restaurant that they all work at. The
They-
She
restaurant,
was a big part of it
They
early
still
on, right?
they still do or don't?
no, so Peter is the only one I believe, and Raquel still works there.
How many kids do they have that they don't know whose or whose?
No, they all know that now. Like they've been growing up, like, you know, they're in their 30s now, so like that kind of stuff isn't really happening. They're getting married, and some of them are married and have kids. But
So it's Vanderpump Rules because they all worked at a restaurant
Yes.
called Vanderpumps?
it's called Sir, but Lisa Vanderpump is their
Sir?
boss. She
Why would they
owns
call
it.
And she rules the roost.
Yes, it was just so that way people would watch the show because they recognize her name from the other show.
The name of the restaurant is called Sir?
Yes.
So, and this is like a spinoff.
Sexy, unique restaurant.
Called Sir.
She had another restaurant, La Villa Blanca. That was like supposed to be like the super nice one, and Sir was supposed to be where like you take.
I think
your
I do remember.
mistress.
This was like a spinoff of some other reality show, right?
I just said that. Yeah, Beverly Hills Housewives.
Okay,
yeah.
La Villa
I wasn't
Blanca?
listening,
Is that what you said?
Like yeah.
What's
but
that
that one's
mean?
not open anymore. It's just another restaurant. That
wonder
wasn't
what
on
that
the
means.
show.
Wonder what you know what that means?
I'm sure something white.
The house.
The house. White House.
Yeah.
Like
Is that what that means? The White House?
Did you say Blanco?
I don't know. What'd you say?
Grizel.
yeah.
Blanca.
Villa Blanca.
Villa Blanca. I thought you said Blanca. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know.
No, it's just crazy. I mean, these people.
These people.
I mean, like, I love it so much. I thought the show was over, and then they come at me with this. Like, my favorite character got canceled last year, 2 years ago, so she's not even on it anymore.
Got canceled?
Yeah, because, like, I guess, okay, like, you see that girl Faith,
Unfortunately.
and then the girl Stassi.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Stassi is best friends with Brittany.
Wait,
and
wait,
Brittany,
let me see where
Brittany's the top left.
Okay.
Brittany is married to Jax, was dating Jax. Jax cheated on Brittany with Faith. Stassi, I guess her and Kristen, who's not on, yeah, Kristen's up at the top middle. They called the cops one night. and
Wait. It's Kristen and who?
Kristen's the one in the middle, and Stassi.
Oh, Stassi. Interesting
They
name.
were so
Okay.
mad that Faith did this because Faith works with them too. Cheated on, slept with Jax. That I guess the police were looking for a African American girl
get to
who
do
was
the show
breaking into
description.
houses, and they thought it would be funny to call the cops and say it was Faith, even though like it wasn't or whatever. But they did it like 4 years ago. But they just talked about it on her podcast, and she got canceled because it was like right around COVID time. So they fired her. They fired Kristen.
wow.
So
'Cause-
let's look at this real quick for
So
a
it's
second.
pretty
here.
much like restaurant drama, like working in a restaurant and the drama of
Yeah,
working in a
'cause, like-
restaurant with all these pretty people,
Right.
And
Well-
everybody's sleeping with each other because restaurant people they don't go home after they go out
with each other.
with each other after their work
Yes.
shifts because they're usually there till 10 midnight or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they're awake and they've been hustling. Everybody goes, let's get together and go here, and then everybody starts sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
And someone said, you know what, that'd be great TV, and they live out there in Hollywood. There's a restaurant. Let's get the restaurant going. We got this going. Let's just make this happen. We're gonna film all of this, and we're gonna write it all for you.
Well, this is actually how it all started. So Lisa Vanderpump on that show, Beverly Hills Housewives. There's another one. Brandy Glanville was a housewife, one of her friends. So Brandy was married to this guy Eddie Cibrian, who's an actor. Eddie was having an affair with Sheena, who works at Sir, who is the whole reason the show started.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing started with the awkwardness of Sheena having to wait on Brandy at one of Lisa's parties, knowing that Brandy, that's the mistress, and they try to like make up, and Brandy's like, fuck you, bitch, you slept with my husband, I don't give a fuck about you. Like,
I think I
and the girl's
know.
like, oh my God.
I think I know, Colleen. I think you can make Vanderpump trivia, and it might be more popular than even Frank's amazing
Oh
trivia.
my God. I love it so much.
No, so
Like-
me looking at all this, right? Looking at this on
Yeah.
the screen.
We're gonna be quizzed on this before we leave, guys.
You got to share this to the Facebook group.
Yeah, I will.
I'm unfortunately like looking at these people and I'm going, okay, so Peter looks like he's something out of a black and white movie from the 20s.
Yes.
Layla looks like she's had about 55 too many facelifts.
Lala.
Layla, okay. She looks kind of terrifying, like maybe something out of one
Yeah,
of those
you should
alien
be
movies.
scared of her. She will whoop your ass.
Imagine that. What was that movie, Total Recall, we were talking about earlier? She looks like something out of Total Recall. Tom up there on the top kind of looks like maybe somebody stole his peanut butter sandwich.
He looks like the
porn
Guardians of the
stash.
Galaxy guy from The Office
He does.
with a mustache.
He kind of does. Yeah, with bigger ears.
Or he's about to sing Bicycle.
I like to ride my bicycle.
It's very strange.
Yeah, because it's just.
I mean, I could make fun of every one of them, but it just wouldn't be right, I guess.
No, go ahead. Just kidding.
it's like most of them have all hooked up with each other, but
My
it
name
was
is
just
Stassi.
the two that it was so shocking because Ariana and Raquel were such good friends, and like Raquel was staying at her house, and meanwhile like Ariana's asleep and she's having sex with Ariana's boyfriend in the next room. Like for 7 months they did
Who
this
made
behind her
this
back.
meme?
I don't know, but I would like to thank them.
Wow.
I love how there's the cheated with lines. The
I
hooked up,
wonder
the
if our
divorce,
shows I wonder
Nice
if our
graphic.
shows like Yellowstone and 1883 have any kind of cool memes that someone has put together like this.
Excellent question, and
Oh,
I would
sure.
be very intrigued to know.
You know, like The Boys has a whole group, like that one TV show.
Yeah.
Has a whole group that me and BJ are in. And it's crazy all the memes that they make with all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's a show, buddy. Holy moly.
It's wild.
That's a disturbing. Like every time you think it can't get any more disturbing, it does.
Colleen,
You ain't kidding.
how'd it feel?
Feels so good, man.
Look at me. How'd it feel?
Felt so nice.
You just did your first rabbit hole.
Dude, I love Vanderpump Rules.
Like you just did your first 15-minute.
I hope that
just
now
deep
everybody goes
dive
home,
rabbit hole
watch season
on
1 and
Vanderpump.
thank me later.
See?
Season 1 is seriously is just as good as this one that's going on.
How many seasons are there this?
10.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, you can
goodness.
skip seasons 7, 8, and 9.
Please, if any of
watch
you
all the other
listeners
ones.
watch this, please tell us you're watching this in the group. Please.
Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. Oh my garage.
Oh my yes. Hey, and then saying "Oh my garage," should we turn this bad boy over to you and T, and me and Colleen are going to sit back and let you guys talk about all the cool things you're doing?
Sure. Yeah. I'll start off with a little
I
story.
don't got to work anymore tonight.
I'll start off with a little funny story. I guess it was what was it? Last Thursday. So this week or this month, I'm on our organization and myself are on the front page of the Viera Voice and Senior Life. Yeah, which yeah, pretty neat. So we go down there to do this Boomer Expo that they're having at the Hilton Rialto
In Melbourne.
in Melbourne. It was a really nice hotel, really nice place.
Cool.
And I bring a bunch of animals because I'm doing a presentation from like 10:30 to 11 or something, it was something like that. And goodness gracious. So I have all these animals out. I'm showing people that are walking around this room full of people, snakes and alligators and all kinds of cool stuff. And I pull this one snake out, not a real big snake, but he just kind
Trouser
of
snake.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the psycho snake.
He was kind of
Trouser
angry at the world, and I pull this snake out, and he latches onto my hand, which, man, stuff like that happens. It kind of is what it is. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to get him off my hand, and it's a blue garter snake, which they have this, their saliva
You
has
have a picture of it on your in one of your pages too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have this part of their saliva, which is an anticoagulant. So when they bite something, it bleeds and bleeds and bleeds, and they have these longer teeth for popping toads and frogs when they blow up, so they can make them deflate. So this thing's chewing on me, and it's chewing, and like 10 minutes go by. I'm kind of like, well, I guess I need to go to the restroom here and see if I can run some water down this thing's throat to make it let loose. So I walk over to the restroom. Again, busy hotel, thousands of people walking around, and I'm in the restroom, and I try to hide in the back sink away from everybody, and people are walking in and out like they do in a bathroom. And this one guy walks up beside me. He's washing his hands, older fella, and he looks over at me and he goes, "Good Lord, son, you got yourself in one heck of a predicament there, don't you?" And the snake's covered in blood. I'm covered in blood. The whole sink is filled with blood, and I'm like, "Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a predicament, And then he walks out and he starts bringing people back in with him, and they're all standing in the back corner and they're telling this. You can see them. They're all telling little jokes and they're talking under their breath while I'm sitting there bleeding to death. And
Handling your snake.
yeah, well, I'm handling my snake in the sink. Yes, and yeah. Anyhow. I digress, but it was just an experience. Eventually it let loose. I turned around and kind of took a bow, and I was like, "Look, guys, it's taken care of." And and everybody laughed, and it was a whole thing. But yeah, so we have a lot of things going on now with EEARS, which is our organization, EEARSS, or as we jokingly say, EEARS. But
Lend your ears.
yeah, we do the podcast there at Titusville High School, which is going really well, and
It really
which
is.
we talked about earlier. And I'm hoping to have you on there, Scott, in the coming
Yep.
coming few weeks before summer hits
Yes,
here.
sir. We'll make it happen.
He's got a lot of spicy podcasts, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
been some really good ones. We've had a lot of really good ones.
CT Taylor was on there recently.
Yeah, he was, man. You've had some great guests. You had from Cheers,
George Wendt,
George
Norm.
Wendt. You've had so
Norm.
many good people, and you've had
Professional baseball players, football players.
You've had the sheriff.
basketball
You've had the
players.
sheriff Ivy
Yep.
on a few times.
He had the mayor.
Yep.
Yeah, had the mayor on.
Indeed.
Had Dan Diesel on, right?
It's been a lot of good stuff, and here recently we did a little work for Apple TV, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, they were shooting a film that you may or may not heard of out in the Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, let's get.
Scott
let's
just
di-
got
let's
so
dig-
excited,
no,
Frank.
Let's dig into this because I know the actors and some of the people on this, and Frank has given me a little bit of knowledge on what's been going on when we
Yeah.
were on the phone the other day.
Yep.
What was happening out there?
It
And,
was basically a week of watching Scarlett and Channing work, and making sure no alligators or
you
snakes.
hear how he just did that,
or-
guys? He's
or
like,
Yeah,
ants.
my good
Channing.
friends Channing and Scarlett.
No, that's not the
Like,
case at all.
That's how they like me to call them.
There's no reason to say the last name because everybody knows who I'm referring to. But yeah, I just watched them work, and it was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
You were on the shuttle runway a lot, right?
Yeah, they let me go run around the shuttle runway at nighttime a few
That's
times,
awesome.
which was really neat. And yeah, there was a one point where the director came over to me. He's like, "Hey Frank, how's it going? Super nice to meet you." He's like, "Everybody here's been talking about you all week." He's like, "It's kind of funny. You're the guy here doing wildlife security, and people haven't stopped talking about you." And we had a whole discussion about that and stuff I'm up to. And
Did you find some snakes eating snakes kind of deal there?
yeah, on set we found a coral. I found a coral snake eating a red rat snake. It is the coolest flipping thing ever.
Wow.
One of the
Nice.
guys that worked in one of the hangars we were beside, he's like, "So what are we gonna do about this?" And I said, "Man, we're gonna watch him finish his dinner. Like, it's a wildlife refuge. We're gonna watch him finish dinner, and we're gonna watch him crawl away and be like, that was the coolest flipping thing ever."
Right.
But yeah, it was neat.
Hot.
Did you get some of my
It was-
garages in front of them so they could?
I don't.
So I feel
think
like that
did.
should be the name of one of your shows one year.
There was a lady, one of the funnier things that happened, one of the safety ladies from Apple, she walked over to me and she goes, "Frank, you need to come with me immediately." And I said, "Sweet. Like, where are we going?" "This whole area back here behind this building is covered with snakes." And I'm like, "Sweet. Like, coolest freaking thing you could possibly tell me." I'm like, "Okay." So we go walking back there and I'm looking around. It's like 3 a.m. We were working there's a couple days where we did 20-hour days. And we're back there looking around behind this building, and I said, "Ma'am, I'm looking around the flashlight." I said, "Ma'am, I don't see any snakes." And she goes, "Well, they're here. There's holes everywhere." And I said, "Ma'am, these are armadillo holes. Like, snakes don't make holes." And about that time, I said, "Look, armadillo." And she's like, "Well, don't they carry herpes?" And I said,
Oh my-
"Ma'am, you're thinking of leprosy." And unless somebody goes up there and starts making out with that armadillo, I think we're okay. And I just everybody got. I was telling everybody on the set that way. Everybody was laughing, like, "Yeah, oh dear Lord."
that's
But
hilarious.
It was. I get where she's coming from because her job is specifically to make sure everyone's safe the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very informative. We learned a lot of stuff, made a lot of really cool connections, and met a lot of wonderful people. And I guess a lot of the people that work with them, I didn't realize how much of the film industry is in Georgia. Because there was a huge bunch of people from Georgia, and then the rest of them, of course, were from California. But yeah, it's a huge part of the film industry that's from the Georgia area. So that was unique too. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff we're going on. Our research is continuing. I'm actually on the Tom and Dan show on Monday.
Oh, are you going to be on there on Monday?
Yeah, I'm going over there to see them on Monday.
Oh, awesome! So glad to hear that,
Yeah, I'm
man.
gonna be in studio with them, so that'll be kind of fun.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It
I really can't.
I didn't realize, of course, being on their show once before, but it was during COVID, so it was remote. I didn't realize, what a huge following they have.
Okay, Tom and Dan. Let me give you just a little bit.
Get ready for the rabbit
Do you
hole now.
Do you know?
Do I know?
You know the big picture on them now, though, right?
No.
Okay. Back when I was printing T-shirts, we're getting back to me printing T-shirts again. That's all you'd listen to. You'd come into work, 8 in the morning. Howard Stern would be on. you'd listen to Howard. At first, it was the Monsters, and then Howard Stern would be on. Then took over mornings there, and then it became the Monsters of the Midday because they were the Monsters of the Morning, and they had Bubba Whoop-Ass Wilson.
I remember him. Yeah.
And
Wait, is that right?
And then there was Sexy Savannah.
Yep. I'm friends with Savannah.
Midday.
Yeah.
I thought they were the midday, they're
Yeah,
the morning.
that's right.
'Cause Howard was on
Howard
first.
left, and they or went to early, and then they took
yeah.
the early, and then when
Yeah.
Howard left, they took the super early. You're right. There was Monsters of the Midday, and they had Sexy Savannah. Daniel Dennis was on the Drew Garabo show at the time, and they were on at night, and they used to do all these prank calls.
So fun.
And all this stuff. And their intro was done by the Nature Kids, which was a band that played out at the Social all the time.
Hat tip.
And big hat tip to those guys, man. They were from New Smyrna Beach, and there's Troy Holloway. His end of every set, up there was just epic. They just were crazy fun. All of their songs had these really cool, like 70s riffs built into their tracks. They just had a really good vibe to them. And all of my high school friends, we'd all go out there all the time, and really enjoy them. But the Monsters, they had like 7 or 8 people on their show at one point, and it was Black Bean was on the show, and then Tom came on late. Van came on later as Drunky the Bear, and they would all go do stunts. And Russ Rollins, the host, would have them all go do stunts, and then you had Bubba Whoop-Ass Wilson doing songs, and they had like a band, and they do a Miss Monster every year. And me and my ex-wife Andra, we'd go to Miss Monster every year in New Smyrna, wherever they had it. We'd go and get hotels and spend the weekend just having a blast with all these fans. And they'd have 5,000 people at these events that they'd host. Dirty Jim
You
did
gotta
a
get to the
stand-up
Monster or
at the Hard Rock.
Tom and Dan part of this.
Exactly. Well, I'm giving you this is how I'm trying to give you how they got
he's giving the
big.
breakdown. Give the breakdown. Yeah.
And what happened is they were so big, and when it came to get their contracts and get Russ really fought for everybody to get good money. Tom, Van, and Drunky the Bear, though, they had something, man. They were hilarious.
Yeah.
They had a falling out with with Russ. Tom or Daniel did, and bailed. And Tom Van still worked there, but was doing a podcast with Daniel on the side, and they were just having fun with it, kind of riffing on it. Dan wasn't sure what he was going to do. Like he worked at Subway at one point in his life. He's like, I might have to go back and work Subway. Tom Van was a magical salesman and broke off when his contract was over. He broke off, and they started the Tom and Dan podcast. Okay, but all their fame and all their followers, it came rightfully so from their radio station, from Real Radio 104.1.
Gotcha.
And Drew Garabo was gone, so Daniel, everything kind of mushed in. And now they all have their own shows on the radio still, and Tom and Dan have a corporate time that's still on Real Radio that plays every night.
Okay.
During the week and everything, and they have their podcast. They were doing it at Daniel's house for a long time, and then they finally got a studio, and they decked that studio out with carpet.
Is that the Sanford stuff?
They're a big part of everything that happens down in Sanford. Like this weekend is Pints and Paul's.
Okay.
And they're a part of that, and they go do stuff with that, where you go out there and have beer and bring your dogs out there. I think there's competition. Butters might be out there this weekend, so we talked about taking Butters out there this weekend.
If you
All
get
right.
bored, they got a mediocre documentary with Tom and Dan.
I actually
That's
have
how
a
I
copy
learned a
of
lot
it.
about that.
I have
Really?
I have a copy of it, and I have one
It's
of their
only like an
movie's
hour long.
counterparts. And if y'all ever want to borrow, if you have a DVD player, I can loan you the disc, because there's some real funny stuff.
I felt like I'd see you in the background the whole time I was watching. I was looking for you.
They used to do prank calls all the time. Like I loved everything that Daniel does. He
loves doing prank calls. You know that, right?
He's a master producer. One of his songs, "Serial Lover," is one of my favorite songs. Dude,
You're gonna have
I
even more fun, Frank.
the way she is about Vanderpump Rules, I'm like that about Tom and Dan. Like I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for them.
Well, how cool is that?
So that's when when
I know the last time I
when
did it, I
hit-
gave you a shout out.
Yeah, well,
that was long before I started mine.
When I told Samantha on the show, I said, you got to hit Frank up, man. And that was for the Weird Job Wednesdays episode.
Which I didn't know that was a. Remember being on that and talking to him, and I had no idea it was for Weird Job Wednesday. So at the end of it all, I'm like, yes sir, talking to them all. And they're like, dang nabbit, stop being so nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sorry, that's just kind of who I am. And then they go, you've won. And I'm like, I won something? What are we talking about? What did I win? And they're like, yep, you're kind of a jerk. Never mind. And I'm like, well, I didn't know we were having some kind of competition. I had no idea, just, it was.
They had
funny.
a lot of fun. And there was one point where, like Tom and Dan, they can go really aggressively funny.
That's what they tried. Yeah.
They just go for the joke. You know what I mean? And they don't have no ill will towards it. Like, they're amazing people. They really are. But when they start riffing off of each other and going, you just got to sit back and let it happen. Because I mean, like when you said "Oh my garage" the first time,
Yeah.
Daniel goes, "Is he so nice? Did he just say "Oh my garage"?" and I could see Daniel was ready.
Yeah.
And then Samantha at one point went, "Yeah, he really is that nice, Dan." And so it stopped him because he didn't believe you at first.
Yeah.
He didn't believe that someone could actually be that nice. And he loves exposing, and getting to the bottom. And he was ready to do it until he got the stop button. She's like, "No, he's legit. He's really that good of a person." It was amazing. I loved hearing that.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I've
That-
done a lot
that
of
made me
interviews,
laugh
and
a lot.
that was a fun one.
And you're going to have fun. You're doing it Monday.
Yeah, I think Monday at 11:30.
You're going to have a blast with them. You really are.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
There's been so many different alligator and wildlife stories in the media here recently that that I think we've been doing media for years between Fox News, CBS, ABC, NBC, ESPN. Indeed,
Nice.
we were on ESPN Southwest Florida and ESPN, a couple other different ESPNs, doing all these kinds of different media things about all these different crazy wildlife stories, like bobcats attacking people and their dogs. And I remember I had this lady who's a dear friend of mine. Me and Thaddeus, I introduced Thaddeus to her.
Lisa?
No, that's Stephanie.
Stephanie,
Stephanie Buffamonte.
Yes.
Yes. I had met her when I was doing the Emmys in Chicago, the Midwest Emmys.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the presenters of awards, and she was there with a bunch of people. And when I was leaving the airport, after being done with all that, there she is sitting in the airport. And I said, "Stephanie, what's going on? Where are you going?" She goes, "I'm going to Orlando. I just got a job with Fox 35 in Orlando." I'm like, "No freaking way. Like, we're going to be talking. You realize that, right? Between alligator stories and everything else, like we'll be hooking back up." And it wasn't
The Gator Farm.
Yeah, the Gator Farm. We got together with her at Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, at
The
Jungle
town
Adventures
of Christmas.
Yeah, Jungle Adventures, and talked about something that one time, and then this was that thing. She goes, "How do people stop from being attacked by rabid animals?" And I said, be more lucky. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no.
Was it rabid though?
Nobody could ever prove it was rabid. It was just one of those things where I think it was a bad situation that they just happened to walk themselves into.
Pull a rabbit out of a hat?
They stepped into it, yeah.
Wow.
But like I told
Thanks.
her, people, if they're going for long walks near wildlife areas, they should be carrying something with them, like
Yeah.
a walking stick or something to put between you
Know
and
your
things.
surroundings.
Some.
Yeah, and be more aware. Those people, our country, our world, people in general are so unaware these days and so complacent that nothing bad can happen to them. You're seeing more and more of this crap. And with here in Florida, everything's being built up so much. You're seeing more crazy wildlife stories every day because there's more homes being built here so quickly.
Squeeze.
It's being squeezed. All these homes are being built between conservation areas, and these animals have to travel back and forth. That's something they were doing naturally before, which now they can't because there's people
Now
everywhere.
they're trying to find a new way.
Yeah, and of course, you're going to have those human-wildlife interactions or human-wildlife conflicts that you might have never seen before.
Yeah.
Like the guy up there in, Daytona? Was it Daytona or New Smyrna that stepped on the alligator outside of his front door?
Oh, yeah.
Or, they never really said that for sure, but that's what happened. The guy didn't know it was there and walked out, and he probably kicked it or stepped on it or something silly happened. It sounded like a reaction bite to me, is the way it sounded like, but things like this happen. I've seen so many crazy alligator and crocodilian things over the years with just them that every time you think you understand it all, you realize there's always some piece of the puzzle you don't quite understand every dynamic of.
Yeah.
I do a lot of articles now for the Great Outdoors where once a month I'll write them a little something for their newsletter, but I referenced one where I went on this bite with this giant human being, this giant guy.
Great Outdoors, Route 50, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Route 50, yep. This guy was doing dock work. They were putting in a seawall, and he was in the water. Nobody had seen any alligators anywhere. This is over in Sykes Creek, and something grabbed his leg, or he said he felt a pressure on his leg, and he pulled his leg up like half of his calf was hanging off. You know, and this giant human being. I mean, this is a very large man, very big guy, not fat, just a really big guy. And they said, well, you know, they were pretty sure an alligator had bit his leg. And after meeting the guy and hearing the whole story, it sounded legit. But I'm like, nobody ever saw anything come over or pop up afterwards. So I start searching this neighborhood for this gator the next day because I don't hear about it till the next day. And I ended up finding this gator. Well, before I even found the gator, I found that along the seawalls, people were dropping food for the catfish and other things.
Yeah.
And there was this big blind alligator in one of these canals that would go along the edges of the seawall and pick up catfish because that was the way he was making a living.
Wow.
And that's what happened with this guy. He thought that might have been some kind of distress, and he grabbed. It was a reaction bite.
It was old and blind.
Yep. Every time you think you understand the whole dynamic of a situation, you learn something like that, and you go, "Man, I was never considering that ever even being an option for a wildlife conflict thing." But you know, historically, I mean, if you go back to the Savo lions, you know, I mean, you ever see The Ghost in the Darkness? Talking about an awesome movie. Val Kilmer back in the day.
Yeah.
Flipping awesome. Yeah, the Savo lions killed hundreds of people, and they had dental issues. It's usually animals that are hurt or don't have any way to express their feelings. Sometimes it turns out to being something terrible.
Wow.
But there's so many dynamics to wildlife. But
the perspective that you're discussing about knowing the wildlife or being safe or being prepared or knowing your surroundings, it's never more real to me until I go over to Thaddeus Cranston's house.
Yeah.
He lives in one of these epic areas. I love that property and where you live, but it's dangerous. Like, you have alligators, you have a lot of wildlife.
A lot of pygmies.
You're living with the wildlife, and you have to develop like senses, probably understanding. You have to see when you see something on the ground, like a slide. Oh, that's a gator. You know, how do you have you always been good with nature like that, or was it something your father or something just living out there all these years you developed, or how did that come to be?
It was definitely a lifelong deal, but from the get-go, you know, I was in the woods and got a lot of like Boy Scout kind of training, a teenager, and then got a bunch of training from professional hikers, and I got to hang out with Uncle Bill Robb, who's a straight up woodsman.
Oh, big time.
And
him doing t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
T-shirts. You don't work there anymore. Oh my god.
Oh, Lord.
We're gonna circle back to the t-shirt thing, guys.
Just gonna bring that up as much as I can.
I feel like this was a comedy show and you just brought it all full circle now.
It's fun, you know. As a fan of your show for a long time, I listen every week. Believe it or not, I love how you guys mix in your comedy with your seriousness. I really do. That's one of the many things I enjoy about this show, and what I always try to do with mine. How you guys have serious moments. It's fun. It's fun to have fun, but you have the serious moments mixed in. It warms my heart. I mean,
I hope so, man. I hope we're giving something to the people that listen to us, and I hope we continue to develop and grow, and stutter through that.
Indeed.
And bring the right people on that make all of our lives happier and better. We've really just so many networked, like positive networking, instances that we've gone through with the show, from real estate to the Eco Fest to meeting all of these people here and reconnecting with people that maybe I did print t-shirts with.
Oh my Lord.
And
oh my garage.
and the conversations that we have, and then, hey, what are you getting into? I'll share. I'll talk to people about it. What are you doing? That's kind of how you build, your community or your circle of people, and it puts you into like-minded situations of like hanging out with you, Frank, and Thad, and going over to have dinner with Colleen. None of this stuff would be happening in my life at all if it wasn't for podcasting, Tom and Dan, the T-shirt company. That T-shirt company doing all the damn T-shirts is where I would meet people and talk. I was just a kid. I was 18, 19 years old, and then I'm having to, do all these responsible things and print these interesting things. And I was just like, what is this guy doing? He's getting all these shirts and is going to spend $600 on these shirts. Is he going to get his money back? That's a lot of money. That's more money than I make in a week. You know what I'm saying? And my brain thinks about those things. And then when you podcast, kind of you get to put all those pieces together in a way. I don't know.
It's cool.
It is cool.
We appreciate you.
You're speaking of the EEARS Eco Fest. I might as well drop this here if I'm going to drop it anywhere.
Yeah, man.
We are doing it again this year. It's going to be a week earlier. So we're going to be doing it November the 11th instead of the 19th.
Nice.
And we're in
Exciting.
talks with a very big artist
Okay.
that may be traveling here from Colorado to play.
Wow. Okay.
When you hear the name, you will 100% know it. And
Okay.
it's he's I think the term legend is fair to say with him.
Okay.
When you Thad?
Yes, sir.
Can I throw it?
Is it Eddie Murphy?
No, it's a musician.
Is it Rob at T-Bone Designs that Scott printed T-shirts with? Does he live in Colorado now?
It's a musician. It's a musician that's he's been in a lot of movies and a lot of some of my favorite TV shows like Justified over the years. He's
Timothy Oliphant.
Yep, Timothy Oliphant. Yes, I
Love that guy.
You know what that means, right? And Dutch Oliphant is elephant.
Really?
Yeah, so he's Timothy Elephant. I never have quite understood that.
He is a very skinny elephant.
He's one of my favorite actors ever.
He's
So,
great
yeah.
in that show. I love that show just fine.
Yeah, I just rewatched the whole thing again.
Can I give you a little bit of when you go see Tom and Dan
Sure.
on Monday? Bring up that Eco Fest.
Yes.
Tell them, say, you guys got to come out here to this, man. They will bring a crowd if they do.
Okay. Good deal.
You know
I'll
what
do
I'm
that.
saying? It's worth bringing it up. It's worth doing that, man. It would be a lot of fun having them out there too.
Okay. I'll do it.
Because they would bring their Orlando crowd. They have a huge Brevard County following. There's a lot of they have a BDM page. It's like their private group, of all their listeners, and they sit there and they do host little events, all little bars and places up and down in Cocoa Beach, down in Melbourne, little hang sessions to where like it's all these fans of Tom and Dan. They're like groupies, just get together and have a good time. When they do their Tom and Dan cruise every year, it's like 500-600 people will go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant is hot. He was in Go.
He was, I believe, he was a model
I used
before
to
he
watch
started
that
his
movie
acting
all
career.
the time.
I think he's Santa Clara
Like-
diet or something, isn't he, in that? Or
Yeah, I think so.
He was in that new thing too with what was it? Something in the Six.
he was in Mandalorian.
Daisy in the
He
Six.
was.
What?
He was in
Was he really?
Mandalorian.
He
Yeah.
was a sheriff in The Mandalorian. He was
Yeah.
actually the first movie I ever saw him in was Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay. Yep.
Yep, he was one of the detectives in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Dreamcatcher, right? Remember that one?
I don't remember that.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he's
Yes.
I believe he was actually a model before he started his acting career.
Okay.
Maybe I heard a diver or something like that too. Maybe.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe not.
But yeah, it's exciting to be doing that again this
Yeah.
year. We're working on trying to figure out funding for that. So
Okay.
yeah, by all means, if anybody out there has any desire to be a sponsor of what we're doing, it'd be pretty huge. We did our cost in that whole event last year was right at I think $8,000.
Okay.
We did the whole event for $8,000.
Okay.
And we were able to fundraise the whole thing, which was it was a beautiful
Heck yeah.
thing.
Yep, we're
So-
tipping the scales. We need money,
Yeah, we'll need money to make this happen.
Lamp
for
and
sure.
Media will help again this year.
I appreciate
like
it,
we
buddy.
did.
and
So,
we
no
become
problem at all.
eligible for bigger grants when we go bigger, right?
Yeah, the
No doubt.
more people we can bring in, the more likely we are to be able to pull grants for our event in the future.
Okay.
So,
And we thank everybody. Sorry, Frank. Everybody
No, please.
who pitched in last time. And it was a lot of different people. And
Yeah.
year
Kelsey's
one-
Pizza up here in Titusville
Yeah.
was probably they put the biggest chunk of money in. Man, it's I know that was hard for them. That was not an easy choice to make, putting the kind of money in they did. But
Yeah.
without them, there's no way we would have had that event.
double hat tip. Yeah.
yeah.
Kelsey's
Big
Pizza.
time.
Yep,
Pizzeria.
Kelsey's Pizza.
Freaking love Kelsey's.
So do I, man.
Same.
Thank you for putting the pepperonis under the cheese.
They're the only ones that do that, aren't they?
Love it.
They really are awesome.
I got to mention
Tim Gibbs.
Yep.
Tim Gibbs.
Oh, yeah.
And
All
everybody.
day.
But spinach pie. Tuesday.
I had lunch with Thad about a year ago at Kelsey's, and to that day, I'd never had. I always get the northern a tortellini Josefina is my favorite thing that they have, but I always get their northern Italian white pizza. He got a spinach pie, and I'm like, man, that looked kind of good.
So good.
So I got one.
Yeah.
Like a few months afterwards, I get it every time.
I didn't
now.
even know it was on the menu.
And a mini
It's
cream.
amazing.
Yeah, so good.
They are the
Really is.
they are the only Kelsey's I'll go to. I mean,
Yeah, same.
honestly, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
There's been a couple other here around recently that have taken a serious dive.
There's
That
not
one
even-
has never done it. That's been
Since
the top of the-
'84.
the top
Yep.
of the food chain for a very
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
time.
we're thankful.
great service. Love everything about them.
Give a shout out to Ford Animal Rescue.
Ford Animal Rescue, yep, for sure.
Mission.
Yeah, the Executive Jet Center there at Tyco.
Bradford Executive
Yeah.
Jet
Wow.
Center.
Yeah, there were so many people that came together to help us out, making that all come together.
The
And,
bands.
Yep.
The acts.
no joke.
Wonder if
Yep.
we can hit up some of these
We
big
have-
ballers, space companies.
We have
Gold Tone.
we have
Gold
one
Tone
of the,
hooked it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gold Tone hooked us up with amazingly. But we have one of those guys from one of those bands on our podcast this week, Mr. Kyle Kinsey.
No way.
Yeah, he's on with us tomorrow. Actually, you
For
didn't know
real?
that?
Nice.
Yeah,
I
he didn't
know
tell you
that.
that.
That's great.
You should come into studio with us tomorrow, Mr. Thaddeus.
Heck yeah.
I think I'll do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Game
yeah,
on.
for sure. But
Sick.
yeah, we got to figure out a date, Scott,
Cool.
to have you on there, and
Yep.
Colleen, if I can kidnap you one day too, I'd love to.
Oh my gosh.
It'll
Okay.
be it'll
You
be
imagine us
some
going to Titusville and
it'll be some fun memories.
I have not been back to THS since I graduated.
I hadn't either, and it's so similar but so changed. It'll blow your mind.
It looks nothing like what I remember. The Wise building is all I recognize.
There are so many differences. There's still a lot of great kids that go there. A lot of, the teachers in general. A huge shout out to teachers and the job they do. God bless them, man. I'll tell you what. If we were that big of a, imagine, we were chaos when we were kids,
Oh, you ain't kidding.
but it just it just makes you appreciate them being in those classrooms and seeing what they're doing. Because we do a lot of educational outreach too.
Yep.
Teachers, man, oh man, we did career day at Jackson like a month or so ago, and I hadn't been in Jackson since we were there too. It hasn't changed not even a lick. It's exactly the same.
Wow.
We were all in the little communal area out there in the middle.
Picture just like
Yeah,
yesterday,
it was
man.
crazy. Yeah, it seemed like 5 minutes ago, but I was having flashbacks.
it is fun going into your old heyday schools, man.
Yeah, elementary school. Now, when I went back to there again, it seemed like the place was like super duper small. Jackson and THS seemed exactly the same.
Yeah.
Astronaut looked exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my brother's
Parkway.
my brother works over at Astronaut, so I got to
Parkway?
see that place.
Is that you?
Parkway Junior High. Last year it was open.
Really?
Yeah. The sheriff
Wow.
department there by the ocean. Help me out. Wild Ocean.
Wild Ocean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I also love.
Wow.
Oh, I did driver's ed over there. Like, was the school that was where? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Parkway.
yeah.
I spent 1 year at the Little Red Schoolhouse.
No way.
Yeah, as a
Wow.
kid.
I remember that. That's right
Yeah.
over there.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's just we have so many people to be thankful for.
We do.
But not even talking about our family and friends that have been a huge help to us. Other board members of EEARS and
Lee
you guys.
Guthrie.
Yeah, just so many people to be thankful for, man.
We do, man. We're gonna go ahead. We got an hour and a half in tonight, guys.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
Seems
Oh
like
my
about-
garage.
Oh my
I gotta say it the
garage.
whole time.
Seemed like about 5 minutes went by.
We have some Chat GPT we're gonna hit up next time.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about this because I'm nerding out on it big time.
It's Terminator all over again.
It's amazing. Like I've asked it to do business plans. I've asked it to, hey, what are some good podcast questions? And it comes up with just the best questions. And,
Save it.
And you can sit there and go, oh, give me more. Give me more. All you got to say is give me more answers. And it'll just
That's
keep
what she
giving
said.
you answers
Give me
to like
more.
good
Give me
questions.
more.
That's from that song in Greece, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
It's
tell me
amazing.
more.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thad,
guys. It was
Frank,
fun.
I loved having
Thank
both
you.
of you guys on.
That I love being in
Yeah.
your
It was
presence.
awesome.
Yep,
So
thanks
thankful
for having
you
us
guys.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
this
Frank.
was awesome.
Yeah,
Colleen,
thank you.
thank you.
Love you.
Love
What
you
about
too.
these guys? They're calmed right down now, huh?
Yeah, they're good. See,
Good trio.
They
Don't
get
sit
in, they
quiet.
get once they come in, they get a little crazy, and then they chill out.
I haven't chewed on my toes in a few minutes.
Oh my God.
Wait till you stand up. You're in trouble.
All right, we're out.
All right.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
That's a wrap.
Daisy's in a tube top, screaming from the top of her lungs. This all ends tonight. Daddy's on the floor, he's screaming for more. Saying you're gonna be alright. Daisy's in a tube top, screaming from the top of her lungs. This all ends tonight. Daddy's on the floor, he's screaming for more. Saying you're gonna be alright.
Dude, they
just killer. Oh, dude, that was awesome.